I want to talk for about 5 minutes about the movie, the Air movie on Jordan and Sonny Vaccaro. So I saw it the other night, Monday night premiere in LA at the Design Center in West Hollywood. And so years and years ago, my first recollection of Sonny Vaccaro, I covered UNLV out of college over 30 years ago. And Vaccaro hung around the program because, at that time, UNLV was on a short list of the most captivating programs in the country. And you'd see Sonny Vaccaro around the program. And to be honest with you, Tark always had that kind of just, little shadiness. Tark was given by UNLV about 40 tickets per home game. And Tark could give those out to whoever he wanted. It was very unique. Even the top coaches in college basketball at that time, Dean Smith, Nolan Richardson at Arkansas, maybe got 4 or 5 tickets per home game. Tark had like 40, 45. So there were always people hanging around practice. That, we're a little shady, And I'd see Sonny Vaccaro around, and I didn't know what to make of him. He was always a very nice guy. But anybody that hung around Tark, I was a journalist. There was some controversial players I was always a little suspicious of. But you could tell very early on he had such an affection for players. The players loved him. He loved the players. And then I started asking around about Sonny Vaccaro, and you found that he was a really brilliant basketball mind with his heart in the right place. He thought players deserved something for all their time and effort. And Sonny Vaccaro was a really important figure in the NCAA's history on reforming, college sports. But Vaccaro plays a key role in this movie because as Nike was mostly a jogging company because that's what Phil Knight did. And Phil Knight, in the movie is, not wearing socks, often wandering intellectually. He had spent a lot of time in Asia. And Phil was always a unique, had kind of an Eastern, not Western perspective, an Eastern perspective on psychology and philosophy and business. Makes him a fascinating guy, Phil Knight. And, Vaccaro was just a tough-minded, gruff, a little chubby, was never going to jog. They were very different people. But in the movie, I think it gives you a sense of how Phil respected Sonny Vaccaro and how Sonny Vaccaro appreciated the courage of Phil Knight. I really thought it was an excellent movie. I'm no film critic, but the audience erupted in applause multiple times. And my takeaway on it, I love the relationship between Sonny Vaccaro, who's finally sort of getting the affirmation and the validation he deserves. Phil's gotten plenty of it. And also for Michael Jordan's mother. And a real big takeaway I had in this movie is that Michael's mother, still living, is a no-nonsense woman, growing up in the South, very protective of her son, and very demanding of others respecting her son. And she comes off as incredibly likable in the movie and powerful. And I really think you win as an audience watching this movie. You have great respect for Michael's parents, for Sonny Vaccaro, and those people have not been given the credit in the Michael Jordan story, at least outwardly, that they probably deserve. So I highly recommend watching it. For me, it was so personal because I grew up in the Pacific Northwest and spent 6-7 years in Portland. I loved all the drone shots of the Nike campus and the Steve Prefontaine images and, the bridges. You see cars, driving over. It was really, for me, it really worked as a movie. But I think it gives credit to people who probably haven't been given those accolades previously in Michael Jordan's legendary career. And, I also thought there was a very clever touch by Ben Affleck, is that you never really see Michael Jordan in the movie. You hear his voice, you see him from the back, and that's interesting metaphorically because Michael is a really, really private guy. And without Michael having a big role in the movie, it allows you to concentrate more on key figures like his mother and Sonny Vaccaro and Phil Knight. So it gets multiple thumbs up from me. Very touching, very genuine, and credit to people who have deserved more through the years in Michael's amazing basketball journey.